And as I discussed in my video yesterday, the truth about Michael Brown, you notice how the president, anytime he does something extremely controversial or arrogant or let's just say illegal or anti-constitutional, he suddenly is removed conveniently from the spotlight and takes a back seat as some kind of new race card is played by the mainstream media. Now, whether or not this was Trayvon Martin, and of course this was around the same time in early 2012, when Obama had just really completed one of his more and arguably most controversial act with the National Defense Authorization Act, an illegal anti-congressional executive order by the president, but suddenly he was removed from the mainstream narrative at that time, and it was all about a young black kid with Skittles and iced tea. All of a sudden, by the way, George Zimmerman was acquitted, which I find amazing that he was even able to get a fair trial, considering Obama likened himself to a young Trayvon Martin, essentially incriminating George Zimmerman, which is totally anti-constitutional in and of itself, before he could actually get a fair trial, because again, any juror or potential juror that heard the president utter those words would think that George Zimmerman was already guilty. You see, the only race baiters, the only race haters, and the only racists in America today are at the White House and are people like Eric Fast and Furious Holder that has made comments in recent months saying that there's racial animus towards the president. You see, the only race baiters and the only racists are these people that keep bringing it up every 5 seconds and keep blasting stories like Trayvon Martin or Michael Brown all across the mainstream boob tube and whatever makes up the blogosphere internet freak show today. These people are the problem, folks. And so I watched Obama after puking all over myself, and I actually had to take a shower because I had the green chunks of the slice of pizza I had last night with my Bud or Coors Light or whatever I was drinking kind of on my shirt. Left a stain. I had to put a new white clean shirt on that was bleached, so I was thankful to actually have a clean shirt. But I watched the president, incredibly poised, talk about some fantasy land mountaintop as the reason for the re-attack of Iraq, and then the brief utterance of Michael Brown. And of course I giggled like a little girl. It cracks me up, America. I find it to be excellent entertainment. Now I do have to give the president just a little inkling of credit. I'll give him an inch, because at this time at least he didn't compare himself to Michael Brown. He actually didn't incriminate the police officer that, by the way, we don't even know if he's white yet, even though they're making it a black versus white hate crime issue. Same thing they did with Trayvon Martin. Even though George Zimmerman's actually Latino, he's not even Caucasian. But you see, the mainstream media creates the narrative, folks. So if they want to turn George Zimmerman into a white Caucasian male, they can certainly do it, even though the actual facts are the exact opposite. And the same thing's happening now with this tragic incident. And I'm not taking away from the tragedy, and certainly it should be investigated to the full extent of the law. But, you know, let's let the law actually carry itself out. So I got to give the president an inch. I got to give him at least an inkling of credit in the respect that at least this time he didn't compare himself to Michael Brown. Of course, I still threw up. I still got the chunks all over my shirt. I had to take a bath and a shower and really just kind of gather my own emotions after the trauma of watching the president noticeably without a tie. Again, every decision is made for a reason, folks. Everything that's done, everything the mainstream media does, everything that the president and the way that he positions himself, from his articles of clothing to the statements that he makes, to the speeches that are written for him, the colors that he wears. This goes for all major politicians in the United States today. In fact, a very good example of this was Hillary Benghazi Gate, Hillary Benghazi Gate. Hillary Clinton, the soon-to-be first female president, because I guess she's got a vagina, And Americans, after electing one president based on the color of his skin, which I actually think is inherently racist, are now about to elect a female president because of her vagina. And you know, it's about time the feminists got their way. It's about time a vagina got elected into the White House. And that will be the sole reason that she wins, in my opinion, if she does in fact win in 2016.